quite transformative. This is going to bother me forever. I think this is going to take quite a bit more time than I thought it would. Hi and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm picking you up right where I left you on the last episode. This is the third episode in the bedroom makeover series, and so far I always try to plan each makeover in a way that I could wrap them up in 3 episodes. For the bedroom, that's definitely not going to be the case. I mean, this is the third episode, but it's definitely not going to be the last. Last week we got a lot of the painting done, and also I would say about 60-70% of the wardrobe. Now this week I'm hoping to get the built-in part of the wardrobe finished and also to put the wallpaper up, which is still a decent amount of work for 1 week. So I think without further ado, I'm just going to get started. Okay, so I'm back from the hardware store, and now hopefully I have the rest of the trim and also the rest of the MDF sheets that I need to finish the wardrobe. We actually had to go to 2 different hardware stores because our go-to hardware store did not have all the MDF sheets that we needed. Now, as you can see, last week I actually finished most of the paneling. Like, the only thing that's truly missing is the top part, and I think that's what I'm going to get started with. First things first, I decided to install a section of trim that kind of like separates the bulk of the wardrobe from the top of the wardrobe, and then afterwards I'm going to install the MDF sheets. So I guess let's just get to cutting and installing some trim. I feel like I'm soon going to need handles if I want to keep opening the doors. Before I continue with the next step, I think I will have to fix this door. This is something that I realized pretty much when we installed the doors. However, before attaching the trim, you could not actually really see it. Essentially, what the problem is, this door is kind of like flush with the trim and all, which looks pretty nice. And then that door, by comparison, sits a good ½ centimeter too deep, which is why the trim around it just kind of like sticks out. And to be honest, that does bother me quite a bit, so I feel like I'm just going to fix it. I mean, I really do not want to do this, but I feel like if I don't, this is going to bother me forever. So I may as well just get it over with, and then I can continue with the rest. And I'll be honest, I did debate just fixing this off camera because truthfully, you would have never known that there was even a gap. But I feel like I do have to show some of the things that go wrong, because honestly, a lot more stuff goes wrong than what you would typically see in a video. Do know that. It's so much better now. So now I guess I can finally get back to what I was initially planning to do. Okay, so the trim is finally installed. Truthfully, it took me quite a bit more time than I thought it would. Also, I decided to wear gloves this time because first thing this morning I got a splinter, so I thought that was a sign that I should just wear gloves. So yeah, the trim is installed. Maybe you can now better see what I meant when I said that I wanted to be like a barrier between the main part of the wardrobe and the top part of the wardrobe. Essentially, what we need to do next is to get the MDF sheets cut to size. I will have to ask my boyfriend to do that for me because I'm going to need the circular saw again. And I mean, I know that it's probably a dumb fear and also something I should get over sometime, but I have a mad respect for the circular saw and I do not trust myself enough to use it. So a huge shout out to my boyfriend that he always agrees to cut the pieces for me that I need the circular saw for. So yeah, I mean, everything else I try to do most of it myself, but sometimes you do need a little help and that's fine too. Okay, so now essentially the only thing left to do are the side panels. If you look at it, I can attach these here, but here there's like no place to attach them. So I feel like I'm first going to strengthen the back structure with 2 additional pieces of wood. And I'm going to do that for this side and the back side as well. And then once that's done, I can essentially finish up hanging the MDF sheets. Editing Florence here. I do want to apologize for the next clip. My camera has been through some stuff over the last few years and sometimes it has trouble with the autofocus now. I do try to catch that when I can, but sometimes I just simply do not, which was the case for this clip, so now you know. During the last episode I actually never really showed you this side of the wardrobe very much. That's because I kind of never got to finishing the trim part of this side, so I think that's what I'm going to do next. And then there's actually one more thing I do want to add to the top part of the wardrobe, but let's just say both of these tasks do involve quite a lot of cutting trim. So I think I'm just going to prepare all the pieces and then I'll see you back here once I'm ready to install them. I'll be honest with you, at this point I was kind of fed up with using the handsaw for cutting the trim, so even though the handsaw makes for way cleaner cuts, I decided that I would much rather take 3 flights of stairs down into the garage to use the miter saw than cut one more piece of trim using the handsaw. So each and every time you see me leave the room, now you know where I'm headed. day, new luck, I guess, or I suppose rather new day, new motivation. So yesterday I did manage to finish the building part of the wardrobe. So essentially what we can get started with today is to go over all of the surfaces and then kind of like fill all of the holes and joints that are visible. There are quite a number of spots where I put screws in and then took them out again, and also like the spots where the screws actually are and some of the nail holes and all. But then once this is done, we can actually get started with the painting part of the wardrobe, which I'm pretty excited about. Oh, and also I wanted to mention, like, I finished the top part of the wardrobe. However, I'm still debating whether or not I want to add some crown molding like along the ceiling. I feel like it would give a nice touch to the room, but yeah, I think I'm just going to get started and then I'll see you again once I'm ready to paint. I finished one panel and I feel like I can say that I got two very important insights. For one, I realized that this is quite a bit more dusty than I thought it would be. I mean, it's very wet when you take it out of the tube and put it on, but like it dries pretty quickly, and then afterwards when you sand it, it just crumbles quite a lot. So I think moving forward I'm going to wear a mask. I feel like my lungs will be so much happier with me if I do that. Second of all, I think this is going to take quite a bit more time than I thought it would. In theory, I thought like I'm just quickly going to put this on and then I'm going to sand it and I can get started with painting. But truthfully, I feel like this is going to take me quite a while. So I went and got my headphones. So I think I'm just going to listen to some music while I do this, because I do think that listening to music makes tasks like these so much more enjoyable. I don't know if you're familiar with Frieren. It's an anime and honestly its soundtrack is pretty awesome, so I have been listening to that over the last few days. I'm just going to listen to that and then we'll see how long this is going to take me. I'll be honest, if I had my way, I would just get started with the paint. I really do not want to finish this, but if I want it to look good in the end, I unfortunately have no choice. I actually only have the top part and the side of this wardrobe unit left, so that's actually not that much. And once I'm done with that, I will have to do one more round of sanding. Oh, and I will still have to caulk the seams, so there's actually still quite a lot to do. But I promise I'm going to make it quick for you, even though it's not going to be quick for me. Now the only thing left to do before we can get started with the paint is the caulk. I've never done this before, so I watched a few videos, and the guy in the video said that one of the most important things is to make sure that it is not dusty, which is quite ironic if you consider what I just did. So I actually spent the better half of the last hour trying to get rid of the dust in here. I mean, I had the windows open, I vacuumed a few times, I even cleaned the ladder. I have to say that my best friend in getting rid of the dust was actually a microfiber towel. So the caulk. I mean, I already filled all of the holes, but like the caulk is more so for spots like here, like the seams along the wardrobe units, and also there where the wardrobe meets the wall. I'm going to attempt to do this, and then afterwards there's actually just one thing I'm craving right now, and that is a shower. I don't think I said this often, but this was actually easier than I thought it would be, and also way more enjoyable. This was actually kind of fun to do, so now I think I'm just going to clean everything up, finally go shower, and then first thing tomorrow morning I'm going to start the paint. As you can see, we finished painting the wardrobe. Actually, this morning we put on a second coat. We kind of had like two problems after the first coat. First of all, the color was kind of like way brighter than I wanted it to be. And you could also see a lot of the paintbrush strokes. I was a tad scared after the first coat, but I knew from the walls that probably a second coat would fix it, and that was luckily the case. And also we kind of realized that we just simply used way too little paint on our first coat. So on the second coat we kind of tried to remedy that, and we used way more paint, and that was definitely the way to go. The paint color that we used for the wardrobe is actually the exact same shade that we used on the walls, except that this is a varnish, primer and varnish in one, and it is specifically meant to paint furniture, while the wall color is just a simple wall color paint. And so kind of like the varnish is a tad glossier than the wall paint, but other than that they are actually the exact same color. While painting the wardrobe, I actually also already painted the baseboards, and also kind of like a stripe of paint along the left and the right side of the wall where the wallpaper is gonna go. I was kind of trying to think ahead, and I feel like once the wallpaper is up, I would very much like to not have to go anywhere near the wallpaper with paint. I mean, there's still the matter of the ceiling. I do feel like that's going to be a problem eventually, but I have kind of decided to not think about it right now. Now, wallpaper. If you remember in the first makeover video, I showed you 2 wallpaper samples that I was gravitating towards, and we did choose one pretty quickly actually. Considering the paint color that we chose for the wall and for the wardrobe, you can probably guess which one we went with. Like, if you remember, these 2 were our initial choices. Can you guess which one we chose? If you guessed this one, then you guessed right. If we had used this one, we could not have used the really dark blue color on the walls. And honestly, in my vision, this room was always like dark blue. So this wallpaper, even though it's really gorgeous, it was unfortunately out of the question pretty quickly. So this is what we're gonna go with. Also, what I like about this one is it kind of has a bit more of a whimsical touch. And honestly, now that we are in the midst of making over this room, I actually am very much gravitating towards making it a really whimsical room. Also in terms of decor, which is not going to happen for a few weeks yet, but I do have quite a few ideas for whimsical decor for in here. And I feel like if I can pull that off, this room is going to be so awesome. And to be honest, with the current state of the world, I feel like we all need a little more whimsical stuff in our life. Okay. No, I actually have done wallpaper once before in my life and it went quite decently. So I'm not too worried, but also I do find that doing wallpaper is always a very stressful thing to do. I mean, you need to line everything up correctly and then you kind of have to work really fast and really precise. Also, like, wallpaper is not very cheap. Not getting this right is honestly not an option. So yeah, let's hope this goes smoothly. as you can see, I put the doors back in. They are still white. I do not intend to leave them that way, but as you may have seen by all the color options that I put on the doors, I do kind of want to keep them brighter. I mean, most of the room is pretty dark currently, and I feel like we do need some touches of like lighter colors. There's still a matter of the ceiling, and I do feel like the ceiling is not going to be that bright either. I mean, if you remember in the beginning, I kind of said that my idea for a theme of this room was kind of like a starlit night, and with the color we chose, also like the wallpaper, I feel like we are pretty much on theme. I do want to say that I kind of like decided to switch the theme a bit more towards like a forest at night rather than the whole room being celestial themed, but there is a good chance that the ceiling will be dark as well, and so I think that the doors of the wardrobe at least should be a lighter color. I just kind of went to the hardware store and I picked up everything that I had in the rough color shade that I wanted. I am currently more leaning towards these colors because like the wallpaper also has some whites but also some more beige yellow colors in it, and I feel like the color of the doors kind of like needs to match with the wallpaper, but we will have to see. I think this is actually where I'm going to end this episode. I do feel like this was a very transformative episode, and honestly I'm a bit shocked at what I managed to get done in just 1 week. It's actually more than I thought I would get done, which is usually not the case. I usually kind of like plan to do like a million things, and then in reality I realized that I'm able to do 5 or something like that. But this week was actually a very good one. Let me know in the comments what you think about the door color. Would you go with more of a yellow beige, or would you stick with a whiter color? Also like the ceiling, do you think dark will be good? And like always, if you like this video, do leave a like, do consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and then I hope to see you on my next video. Bye!